Dealing with insurance companies is sometimes a little bit of a challenge, just to make it an understatement for dentists. Today, you've got all kinds of issues. It gets confusing, and it seems like the cost is there. Well, what you need is someone that can be there with you, that knows what to do, and can be your guide. And you know what? That person exists in the form of a company, and the CEO of that company is joining us right now, Vivek Kinra. He's with PPO Profits, and he's joining us now from their offices there in the Chicagoland area. Vivek, good to have you with us today.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Terry. Nice to meet you.
I really appreciate what you're doing, because it's a confusing mess in a way when you see all that's involved with insurance and you go, what do we do on this and everything? So tell us kind of from the big picture, what does PPO Profits do? How do you help dentists in the real world with insurance?
I mean, ultimate goal of PPO Profits is for dentists to get more money from insurances, right? So exactly the same work that that the dentists are doing today, right? My goal is to make sure that the checks that the insurance companies send the dentists for the work they do are bigger, right? Staying in contract, staying in network, but still get better reimbursements, right? And there is a particular way that exists, right? And a lot of dentists don't realize that there is a bit of a the insurances by themselves are just so complex, but if you can demystify that, there are ways that you can get better reimbursements from the same insurance companies that you've been in network with for a long time, right? And so that's basically what my company does.
Yeah, and I like the perspective you have, because you didn't just read a book or two on this. Your wife is a dentist, and so you got a chance to see the inside of what's going on and how to do it. What are some ways that you operate with insurance companies, and some of the ways negotiation strategies that you might employ?
Yeah, so, and you're right, my wife's a dentist, and the way I got involved is when I looked at her insurance reimbursements, I saw that there was one company paying her $700 for a crown, another one paying $1,100 for a crown, right? All over the place. And what I realized is that it really doesn't have any bearing with, your zip code, etc. It's very, very random, right? And so I started back in late 2017 trying to figure this out about what's going on. We had a lot of calls, and eventually just realized the piggybacking that happens between insurances. And if we can untangle this big insurance web that exists for most dentists, they can get better reimbursement. So I did that for my wife, and I just saw a huge increase, right? Say insurance companies that were paying her $750 for a crown were paying her $1,200 for a crown, right? And I kind of sat on this for a long time. Right? Because I wasn't exactly, I was still managing my wife's practice, et cetera, right? And a couple of folks kind of recommended that I, go pretty, full on into this. And Paul Goodman was one of them, right? I actually remember I had dinner with him in Philly, and he really encouraged me to just kind of go, full on. And as soon as I did that, it just kind of skyrocketed. There was a big demand for this service, right? And I noticed that I noticed so many dentists were just getting so poor reimbursements, right? And their only option was that either they just basically drop insurances and risk losing a lot of patients, or just continue to just work at volumes, right, to make up for it. So I just basically implemented what I'd implemented for my wife, learned a lot along the way as well. And then the company just kind of grew. And at the moment, we're, company's about 18 months old, and we've already done this for now close to about 450 dentists. The company's grown quite a bit, and super excited about that. And, ultimately, obviously ultimately what I see is that the dentists that have been, kind of working with us, right? I mean, they just see a remarkable difference right? And so pretty much every dentist that we work with just tells us that they just didn't know.
Yeah, I can see that, because it's a mystery out there, but you're studying it and you're looking at, well, while we got you here, I'm going to reach through the screen, twist your arm just a little bit here to find out what you see happening. There's insurance. What's the status of it? Is it getting better? Is it getting more complicated? Honestly, what's going on?
I mean, it is a changing world. The only thing is that, during COVID, right, a lot of the insurance companies did go in cost-cutting mode, right? So the negotiations for the insurances has gotten tougher and tougher, right? If you think about companies like MetLife and Aetna, they're very, very big healthcare providers, right? Dental is a very, very small part of them, right? So, um, and if you can imagine MetLife being the #1 health insurer in New York, right? What is happening to their health claim system, right? They're just hemorrhaging money by making all these payments related to COVID, right? So they have just gone into cost cutting like crazy, which means that there is pretty much no negotiations whatsoever, right? So the landscape is getting tougher, right? And I don't anticipate it to get any better anytime soon because, right now everyone is still in reactionary mode, right? So at this point of time, I do believe that a lot of dentists should kind of take this opportunity before it really gets locked down to get better fees, right? And even within ourselves, right? My company has a big urgency at the moment. We're trying to hire more people, and even the current account managers that we have, right? The whole goal is let's get this in as quickly as possible before the insurances just say no more, right?
Mm.
So there is a bit of urgency, and yeah, it is getting tougher and tougher. Um, yeah, just the way
Yeah.
things exist,
But
right?
it's nice to know that in the midst of that toughness, we don't have to face it alone. Dentists can come to you, can work with PPO Profits and find out what's going on and how to do it. Also, I think you've got a very intriguing and very fair way of getting compensated and working with dentists. Would you mind sharing with us how you work with various dentists?
Yeah, for sure. So, and I don't mind sharing our fees, et cetera. I mean, at least for today, things can change,
Sure.
right? But our fees kind of go from between $4,500 for a dentist to $6,300, right? It is a one-time fee. We get into an 18-month agreement, but the what we do is for startups and acquisitions, right? We give a 100% money back guarantee, which means that if you don't like the fees that we put together for you, right? You can, after we've negotiated and bring them to you, you can just say, you know what, I don't like these fees, right? And we terminate, refund everything that you've paid and move on. For existing in-network offices, it's a little bit more challenging. So we basically still do a complete, we would terminate at no questions asked and refund minus $600, right? So this gives the dentist a lot of the luxury of kind of just testing us out and seeing what's out there and what we can put together, right? And for startups, there's no risk. And for existing offices, yeah, you're risking $600, but you're basically getting an idea of what we can do, right? Now, I will say that of the 400 something dentists that we work with, we have had not even a single dentist ask us for money back because they didn't like the fees, right?
That's saying a lot. That's very positive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you're an asset to people. When you think about it, in today's world, there's so many different aspects that we need to be aware of. Having a guide, having someone who knows about it that can help us, and you're there for us. And really, it's nice because you're only going to get paid if we're out there making money and doing it right as dentists and getting the results we need. Well, people can reach you through ppоprofits.com, your website. Any other words, any other messages you'd want to give to the dentist that's watching this right now, thinking about getting in touch with you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to everyone, right? A lot of times when we discuss the results that people can get, there's a lot of skepticism, right? There's a lot of disbelief, right? But what I'm sharing is reality, right? Then, I'm very active on all the different Facebook groups. Excuse me. I maintain a very, very active profile, right? So kind of people know me as I have I basically just blurt out whatever I know, right? And where the chips fall, they fall, right? And so I have no interest in never trying to sell somebody, but I will say that this is one of the best services, right? That a dentist should do, right? In terms of making a dent to the financial success of the practice, I legitimately do not know of anything that a dentist should do before this. It is numero uno, #1 thing, will make the biggest difference. I always say you can have all the factors that make a successful practice, right, on one side, and getting better fees on another side. The getting better fees would actually beat all the other factors combined.
Nice.
So yeah, it is one thing that really absolutely deep down, I think every dentist should do this. It'll make a big, big difference, right? Um, and yeah, I mean, ultimately there isn't, right? Even the worst job that we're going to do, right, is still going to be better than anything you've seen, in my opinion, right? A lot of dentists ask me, hey, what's the ROI? And is it 50%, 500 or 5,000? I'm not sure because I've never tested it. It's just really high, right?
Exactly.
So
Your results will vary and it's going to depend, but it's worth looking into. Again, the website is ppoprofits.com. Head on over there and check it out. It's well worth it for a dentist to do that. Vivek, we really appreciate you joining us today here in Dental Nachos and look forward to seeing you again in the future.
I appreciate it. And just quickly on the ppoprofits.com, on the top right, there is a button called Schedule a Consult. You can hit that to schedule a consult with me.
Ah, very good to know. Upper right at ppoprofits.com. Click on that button, schedule your meeting, and find out the answers you need today. Thanks
Got
for
it.
being with us today here at Dental Nachos.
Thank you, guys.